everyone, and welcome to February Energy. So, February pretty much starts out with Imbolc, fire, creativity, more light, which is pretty awesome at this point in time. I live in Montana. Things are really freaking dark during the winter, so seeing the light come back is so awesome. We're going to have a new moon in Aquarius, which is going to feel, I have a feeling, very expansive, followed by the Lunar New Year the next day. Mercury comes direct on the 20th, because we spend most of this month in Mercury retrograde or in the shadow of Mercury retrograde ending. So Mercury retrograde, just triple, quadruple, bajillion, check any contracts, things like that you have to sign during this time frame. Watch your words. Give yourself plenty of time to get things done and get to places, and give yourself space. Mercury retrograde is not the end of the world. It's not that bad. Just don't, be mean to yourself and try and do it all in a 3-week period. Text starts going weird on you, just back off from it. I used to be that person who's like, Mercury retrograde and the text going glitchy. I just keep trying to force through it. Now I'm like, okay, I guess I'm not scheduling today. I'll go do something else. And I go do something else, so that means I get something done. So when I do have to come back and go do the scheduling that glitched on me, I feel a lot better because I didn't spend an hour, 2 hours trying to make something work that wasn't working. Just go do something else. It'll be more productive. Trust me on this one. Played a lot with Mercury retrograde and how to function. And the more space I give myself, the more time I give myself, the better off it is. So give yourself plenty of time and space. Have a successful Mercury retrograde. So then we pretty much finish up with a full moon in Virgo. So, Aquarius new moon's going to be very creative, expansive. Virgo's going to have us getting it all sorted out after we make a mess from our creativity. So this month I have the Earth Magic Oracle and the Star Child Akashic Tarot. Just looking for some decks with some upbeat, expansive energy for February. So I feel like January was like the longest January ever. It's been about 31 millennia, just about. So interesting. Okay, so themes happening here. Also, what I found really interesting, going through the Get Crystals, the Tower showed up a lot. The Nine of Swords showed up a lot. The Hierophant, which is the 2021 tarot card, because it's 5, showed up a lot. Very interesting. Very interesting watching themes within my clients' lives, kind of like intertwined. It's kind of interesting. It's never had that much kind of energy all just together. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I just told you kind of interesting 100 times, and you're like, shut up. So let's talk about what we pulled for our first card, which is Spring Equinox Rebirth. I just finished doing the Cosmic Shadow Light reading, and that one was Dragonfly Emergence. We're seeing a lot of rebirth energy happen as we move into February. And remember, that rebirth needs to be a rebirth that's inclusive. We're looking at new ways of being. Use that Hierophant, because we always think of the Hierophant as this kind of stodgy, old, plodding, clergy kind of dude who's stuck in his ways and won't want to change. But let's change that. We can create new dogma and doctrine. We can create ones that work for all of us. And I feel like that's what that rebirth is about. We're looking internally and externally to create this within our lives and see where it can take us. Because it's going to be really freaking awesome if we decide to use it in a good way. So look at where you need to be reborn. And I feel like part of this rebirth too is like, are there any places you need to be like, hey, this needs to go. This needs to be strengthened. This, well, what, I don't know what that is, but it's not working. We're going to retire that. You don't have to get rid of things necessarily to let go. Sometimes things don't want to go. Even if you're not using them, they're still kind of like, oh, you're mine. I'm keeping you. You're like, okay. But you don't have to work from it. You don't have to use it. And that's the difference. It's like things can be part of your story that aren't okay. But they're not your whole story. They are not from where you have to work from. You do not have to live from those areas. But you can still keep them, even though you've kind of let them go because you're just like, yeah, you're part of me. But you're not where I moved from anymore. That can be a form of rebirth. So really look at where you need to bring that in. Lots and lots of energy here. So let it come in, let it flow, let it take over for a while. If you're not sure what that is, you can even just sit with it and let the energy percolate and let what comes to the surface be what you work with. I find a lot of times things that come up or surface very quickly for people in terms of rebirth and change and transformation are the best things to work with because they're ready. They're ready to be worked with. They're ready to go. Ready to change. Let's pull 2 more cards. Nice. I got 5 of Cups. Okay, nice. So let's just throw those up there. So card 1, Serenity. I feel like part of this is that rebirth aspect because there's a lot. There's been a lot. 2020 was a lot. January 2021 was like it's been 20 millennia since this month started is how I feel. So serenity of reclaiming ourselves, reclaiming our lives, reclaiming our energy, our minds, our emotions, our bodies. Breathing out that big sigh of relief as the energies change. As we feel them change. As we feel the collective soften just the tiniest bit. So where do you need to bring this in? Meditation practice popped into my head. Where do you need to bring in more meditative practices? Things like that. Do you want to do a 40-day sadhana? Sadhana, excuse me, can't talk anymore today. And ingrain a habit into yourself. Go for 40 days, maybe 90, maybe 120. I find when you get going on those things, they're kind of easy to stay in, as long as you stay aware in that. It's those practices that are going to bring us back into where we need to be. So look where you need to bring those in. And they're going to help fuel that rebirth. Because the 5 of Cups reminds us there's a lot to heal. There is a lot to heal. Within ourselves, within our societies, within different populations, between different populations, there's a lot. There's a lot on our plates. And there has been for a long time. And I feel like there's a shift in energy that's happened that we're going to have a little more time to reclaim that energy because we're not wondering. There's been so much time spent wondering what's going to happen and how bad is it going to get? How far down do we have to go? And that energy is shifting now. So we need to stop. It's like we all have a trauma response right now. When's the next shoe going to drop? Is a trauma response. And we all, pretty much everyone kind of has that feeling at the moment. And the 5 of Cups is reminding us that, hey, yeah, there's a lot to heal. There's a lot of energy that needs to integrate, it needs to process, and we need to heal it within ourselves and outside too. Does not mean that and remember, healing is not being like, oh yeah, you're an abuser, it's okay now. No, it's not. There's still an abuser. Not that kind of stuff. Healthy healing. We want our traumas and responses to kind of drop down a little, so we're not always like, next shoe's dropping, and being afraid of that. It's not a fun place to be, frankly. So, I have the original affirmation deck here. This is the prototype that I made before I made the ones that are currently on sale on the website. So you can pick those up and we'll see how well USPS gets them to you. Oh, the soul knows, the soul knows. So pay attention to your soul, listen to your soul, because it can guide you. So let's do a quick recap before we close this out. Okay, so now the hair is attacking me. Guide card for February is Spring Equinox Rebirth. Where do you need to be reborn? What are you looking for a rebirth in? And let that happen. The other card is Serenity. What processes do you need to bring in, whether it's meditation, ritual, art? I did moon collages last year. Plan on continuing with those again this year. Things that bring you calm, that help you process what's happened. Look at those. Where do you need to sustain them? How can you create a consistent practice of meditation or some other form of practice? Daily art practice would be one that comes to mind. Exercise. Something that is pretty much a consistent pattern for you to bring in. Because Five of Cups is reminding us there's a lot of healing going on right now. There's a lot we need to recover from. And it's going to take time for that to happen. It's the emotions, the energy, the mind, the body, they all need time to catch up. So we can start to release a little bit of that trauma response a lot of us are having to things. Waiting for the shoe to drop is the one that keeps coming to mind. There was another one I was doing the other day, and now I can't think of it. So, they're out there. Pay attention to, the things that kind of like, ooh, why am I doing this? Could be a trauma's response. So, the soul knows. Is going to guide us. Listen to your soul. Listen to your heart. Those will help you guide yourself to where you want to get this month. So, all right, everyone. Have a wonderful February. And don't forget to check out, I'm putting out videos right now on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Mostly on Tarot. I'm finishing up the Froude's Fairy stuff. Going to be pretty much done with that. Froude's Fairy Oracle at the end of this year. Tarot, we're working our way through the I just tried to say major in Latin. It didn't work. Major Arcana this year. Doing some deep dives, going in for me, because I'm going to be working on creating a tarot deck. And when I'm getting inspiration for that, I'm also doing a project to modify a tarot deck. So which has been really, really fun. So keep your eyes out for videos on a regular basis on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Oh, and the vlog. Fridays is the vlog. So I almost forgot that one. So yeah. Everyone go out there and be the love in the world. Bye-bye.